Supporter of the Swaliga United says everything is a progression. Prime Minister of St. Martin gives an assessment of the situation, and hundreds attend the border closure protest in Bellevue. Those are the headlines for Wednesday, September the 16th, 2020. Good evening, viewers. Welcome to this special edition of SXM Daily News, which covered the border protest of September the 16th, 2020. I am Valerie Van Putten, thanking you so much for joining me this evening. And on Wednesday morning, September the 16th, scores of persons from both sides of the island turned out to take part in a peaceful manifestation organized by the Swaliga United organization on the northern side of the island. The purpose of the march was to send a clear message to the Prefect, Sylvie Foucher, demanding that the border checkpoints be lifted. The border closure established since Friday, July the 31st, and was supposed to have been lifted on Tuesday, September the 15th, but was extended further to October the 1st. The pronouncement of the extension had been met with heightened opposition, frustration, and anger, and it was against this backdrop that Swaliga United decided to stage a manifestation demanding that the Prefect immediately open the border. Wednesday's event was attended by a cross-section of persons on St. Martin, including the Honorable Prime Minister of St. Martin, Sylvia Jacobs, as well as members of the Council of Ministers, members of Parliament, government officials on the French side, including the President of the Collectivité, Daniel Gibbs, as well as members of the Territorial Council. Also joining in the manifestation were members of the business community of St. Martin, St. Martin. Following her participation in the march on Wednesday morning, the Prime Minister gave this assessment of the situation.
I have just returned from a manifestation held at between the two roundabouts on the north and French side, from the Union Road to the Bellevue Road. I felt it was important as the majority of the Council of Ministers as well were in attendance, and that could explain why many did not make it back into the press briefing this morning, albeit we have postponed it somewhat. I thank all for your patience, but we felt it was important to show our solidarity with the people of St. Martin. This is not a political game that is being played. This is seriously affecting the livelihood, the lives of St. Martin people that consider themselves one people. We are one island. We understand we have two administrations, and we continue to be challenged by decisions being made unilaterally by one side that affects us all. So we will continue to have deliberations, and I would like to thank all those persons who peacefully came out and showed their solidarity for the movement. Several members of also the French Collectivité, the government local representation, were also on the site. And I also look forward to the meeting we have planned tomorrow to further deliberate with our northern partners, both the Collectivité and the Prefect, Madame Sylvie Foucher, on the way forward with as it relates to the internal border closures and the effect it is having on our people. We have been continuing to attempt to dialogue on this. However, the Prefect continued to uphold the decision that had been made, and I look forward to us having this resolved sooner rather than later in the interest of all concerned.
And member of the Swaliga United, Alex Sujaref, speaking at the border monument in Bellevue, said that they are peaceful and quiet, but if they want to push them to go to the extreme, they are also that.
Let them know we are peaceful, we are quiet. We wanted to move in a peaceful, harmonious, friendly St. Martin way. But if you want to push us to go to the extreme, we are also that. These grounds that we are standing on, these hills that we are looking at, 26 of our ancestors ran from that plantation right there next door and crossed the border with the expectation if they get caught, they will be killed. So that blood is running through all of us veins. Those are the same spirit. We are going to fight for this country. As I said, you have decided to be on the right side of history today. You have decided to stand firm to liberate your country. And for that we say thank you.
Where's the brotherhood?
But we are saying we need to take it a little further. We are not going to be removed. But we expect, since she's not going to speak to us, we expect you, the officials, to speak to her boss so that she could come to speak to the people of St. Martin, because she has a boss. Since we didn't nominate her, let's go to those who nominate her and say that she's running our country like a dictator, and we do not approve of it.
And she needs
So
to go
you
back
got
home.
your work to do too.
Yes.
She needs to go back home.
She needs not only to remove the border, but she needs to remove herself from our country. And let
And speaking after the control point was moved, Alex Sujaref then said that he considered it a success, but it needed to be confirmed that it will never, ever happen again. He wanted it removed permanently and that the border never be blocked again.
The checkpoint, the control point has been moved. Would you consider this a success?
Oh, definitely. The idea was to get a checkpoint removed, but we need to concrete it in terms of we need to get to the prefecture's office, and the next move would be to go there and to make sure that what we saw here, because for all we know it could be removed now because a large crowd is here, and by this evening when we come back it might be back here. So it need to be confirmed that it is removed permanently, never to be re-established at no time. No time in the history of St. Martin again. Whether we go to 12 cases, 300 cases, 1,000 cases, the border should never be blocked. It is significant for us to continue living in harmony and unity. We cannot divide the country, St. Martin.
How do you feel about the turnout here this morning?
Oh, great. St. Martin people answered to the question, they answered to the call. You could see there's a number of people who are fed up with the situation, and it's proven by the thousands of people who are here this morning. We are feeling proud of the St. Martin people. We know that a good organization would have gotten the people in the street, and that's what we did. We started off saying we wanted a car rally. The people said no, they want to walk, and they are here walking today. So we want to thank them very much for that, and we're looking forward to continuous support whenever St. Martin is at stake. This is not based on race, creed, religion, politics. This is based on the oneness of the St. Martin people, the true unity of St. Martin. One people, one destiny, one island. That's what it is based on.
And still to come, Councilman and Senator on St. Martin deemed the protest a super success and congratulated the counterparts for the action that they took. We'll have the details to that story and much more when SXM Daily News returns.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Welcome back, viewers, to this special edition of SXM Daily News for this evening. Councilman of the Hope Party, Mr. Jules Charville, and Senator of St. Martin, Mr. Guillaume Arnell, speaking to Fernando Clark and SXM Daily News, said that it was a super success and an extraordinary success. Meanwhile, Senator of Friends St. Martin, Guillaume Arnell, said that he is happy and very proud of the people that came out to show solidarity. He wanted to congratulate his Dutch counterparts for the action that they took. He said it amplified the movement, and he told our news department how far he was willing to take it.
Yes,
Seeing what we saw here, do you think this was a success?
it was more than a success. It was a super success, an extraordinary success. We expect to see thousands of persons here today. That's what we got. But we did not know exactly how the Dutch side would react because we call on them. And I can say our success is to see how the Dutch side reacted, the delegation that came over with a unity flag in their hand, and we met at a control point, and that was the real message this morning, is that no one is going to come here to divide us.
Yeah.
For 372 years, we have lived as one people, united, and that has to remain as it is.
Yep.
And that was the whole mission this morning was to say, stop the blockades. You have tried something, it hasn't worked. It is time to put a stop to it.
Your colleague just mentioned that you have written letters to the Minister of Overseas Affairs and even to the President you were prepared to. How far did you take it?
Well, first and foremost, I must seize this opportunity also to congratulate our counterpart from the other side of the island for the action they take. It amplifies our movement. The next thing is that I'm a parliamentarian, and nowhere in France parliamentarians are treated as such, like we are treated here in St. Martin. There is always an exchange with the central government, even if they have to take their decisions. Here, it's always a unilateral decision. And I've addressed on the COVID-19 situation the prefect, and the letter has always remained unanswered. So I find it's a total disrespect for the people of St. Martin via their local representatives. So this morning I got up early, and as I mentioned on SOS yesterday, I took it to a higher level. I made a direct contact with the President of the Republic and the Minister of Overseas Department. And I got an answer and said, personally, the President of the Republic said in the Council of Ministers this morning that he would take it personally into hands. And as Gillot said, I think the removal of the tent is not a victory. Let us be clear for now. We have to remain mobilized and focused. But it is an indication, and the Chief of Gendarmes told me so, is that we must show a sign of pacification, and that's what they did. And I want to commend them because nowhere in the French nation you would see people in the back of a gendarme. And here they feel safe, and I think they were doing a job that they were ordered to do, but against their will.
Okay, so based on what has happened here now, do you feel that that is progress? Do you feel it's a victory? We still have the situation down in the lowlands, the Oyster Pond, and in French Quarter. Based on what has happened here, do you feel progress, success? How do you feel about that?
Well, it's a demonstration of force. And when in negotiation your voice cannot be heard, then the street will talk. And I think the prefect today cannot, and pictures have been sent to the President of the Republic on my behalf and to the Minister of Overseas so that they can evaluate the situation. And I think that a decision necessarily has to be taken today.
Okay. If that doesn't happen, then what?
We continue.
We'll continue.
I'm here to be with the people as long as they want and as long as the situation would command that.
Well, let me address that because the senator is speaking as a senator, as a St. Martiner, as a concerned St. Martiner. But I'm going to answer it as part of Swaliga United, the collective that spearheaded this action that you're seeing here today. It is Swaliga United, and I'm a founding member of Swaliga United. Yes, we have plans that this was supposed to be stage one, and if it didn't work, we move to another stage. So far, I consider it to be part one of the victory. and Senator Guillaume Arnell is right. We should not cry victory like that, but it's a good indication it's going in the right direction. It's a good beginning of a victory.
Now, turning to our weather forecast for September the 16th, 2020, at 11 a.m. this morning, Hurricane Teddy was located about 890 miles east-southeast of St. Martin and could become a major hurricane by late tonight. However, it is expected to pass at a safe distance from the island chain. Now that Tropical Storm Vicky is expected to become a tropical depression on Thursday, and these systems are not expected to pose a direct threat to St. Martin. However, an area of disturbed weather located over the eastern tropical Atlantic has a high percentage, which is 70% chance of forming through the next 5 days. The Meteorological Department of St. Martin will continue to monitor these systems and update the public accordingly. So the outlook through Friday midday, partly cloudy with isolated showers. Now let's turn to your 3-day forecast. And still to come, former Minister of Finance says, "We live together and we don't need no separation." I'll have the details to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
Welcome back, viewers, to this special edition of SXM Daily News. Well-known businessman and former Minister of Finance on Dutch St. Martin, Mr. Michael Ferrier, speaking to our cameras this morning, said that we live together and we don't need no separation. We need a plan for the island together.
St. Martin is one place, one island, one destiny, as we say. People live on both sides. We live where we can. We live where we can afford. We live together, and we don't need no separation. I've been saying that in my ads from a long time, and I stick to that. I know St. Martin as a free place where we can cross the border without any problems. This never was a problem before. COVID don't just travel by car, it traveled by any way, anyhow. So we need a plan for the island together. Both sides to attack the problem together, but you can't say I'm gonna fix one side and don't fix the other side. St. Martin is only one place, 37 square miles, and it's one island, one destination, one people.
Meanwhile, Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, Dr. Anders Rodolph Samuel, said that today is a real historic day for St. Martin, and when we think of the Treaty of Concordia, we are one, and we want it to remain one.
Well, today is a real historic day for the people of St. Martin, and definitely when you think on the Treaty of Concordia and the history of this country, where the people of this country, both sides, North and South, are one. And the indication today is that we would like it to remain one. So the blockades are definitely something that is avoiding it from being one. The reasons for the blockade, we can understand that the virus was a reason, but it seems not to be the virus anymore. So we are hoping that with this show of unity, that we can indicate that we would love the island to remain one island, one people.
And musician of Friends St. Martin, Laundry Piper, who also spoke to our cameras, he said that the prefect needs to humble herself.
I will say to the people watching that the prefect need to humble herself. With the amount of people come over from the Dutch side and from the French side in China, they don't agree with the border. Humble yourself. Who are you? And I believe, as a St. Martin speaking for the people, she need to go because she don't love this country. And if you don't love the country, you can't run the country. You can't be there. Okay? So she could call it hate. She could call it what she want, because nobody hate more than she right now. Because she should listen to the people and say, you know what? Move the borders, let the country run in both directions, because St. Martin people are one island, one people, one destiny. And I'm not going to change that. And it's my right to talk, so I will speak. I've been in radio for years and I said it. I know this island live in unity for years, and let us keep it. Those of you who's watching, I love the Dutch side. You hear Michael Ferrer speak just now, very good. And I love the French side, and we're going to keep as a people, and we're not going to leave colonialism separate us. Thank you.
Member of the Swaliga United Movement, Victor Payne, said that we are dealing with the French state and that they consider it a victory. When asked by Fernando Clark if the closures and control at French Quarter had been removed, Mr. Payne said they are working on getting them moved today.
Not closures at, let's say, down in Lowlands. We have at Oyster Pond, and then there's a control at in French Quarter. Have those been removed?
We don't know as yet, but we're working on getting them moved for today.
Okay. And the removal from here at Bellevue, where we are at this moment, is that permanent or is that a temporary move?
I want to call it technically a temporary move. For a simple reason is that what our objective is the executive order to extend the border control until the beginning, until October, hasn't been repealed as yet. Yeah. So we can't call it a total removal. What we got to say is it's a victory for today, and that the gendarmes so far are cooperating. We can't talk for them what is their dilemmas or in this struggle. But for the time being, we got to consider that we've already, this amount of people here around us, it's one of the first time in St. Martin that we get so many people on foot demonstrating, so we need to be proud of what we've done. We've raised the St. Martin flag. We need to be proud of that. And we're going to try to see, maybe the prefect will meet us maybe this morning or later this afternoon. We're going to find out about that in a few minutes. But our objective, without any doubt, is to get those border blockage and control raised.
And one of the many supporters who came out to the protest is linguist and former Minister of Education, Dr. Rhoda Arundel, who has been there from early morning. Dr. Arundel says that when asked if she considered the manifestation a success, she said that everything is a progression, and as soon as all the containers are removed, she will consider it a success. Meanwhile, another supporter spoke to our cameras.
Do you consider this to be a victory, a success?
Everything is a progression, one step at a time. We're hearing good news. As soon as all the containers are removed, etc., we will consider this event a success.
Okay. Now, the control point has been moved at least.
No, it ain't moved. The tent is down.
The tent and the barricades.
The tent is down.
Yeah, and this was going to be my question. Does that mean that the control has stopped?
I don't know what's going to happen. We don't know.
Yeah, because there's no official word on that.
I don't even know what y'all calling it a control. They were trying to block the border, and what we're trying to ask them is to reopen it, where all the containers are placed, where there's a tent, where there's a rock, where there's a strip. Move all of it so we could go back to our way of life.
And move it today?
Move it today. Today.
Okay.
Today.
Now, let's look at this this demonstration today. I think it's been a long time in St. Martin. We have seen so many people from so many different walks of life come together for a common cause. And in that in itself, I think is a success. How you feel about that?
It's a success. Again, if you've been doing this for all the years that we've been this, we know we have our ebbs and lows. And Martin people don't like to harass nobody. We mind our business. We like people to leave us in peace. But when we get pushed, this is what you see. And this is more than once. And we'll continue to do this. Every time it's necessary to our very survival, we come out in force. Mm-hmm. That's who we are, and that's what we're about.
And this was a very peaceful demonstration. There was no violence and no, let's say, indication of wanting to become violent or anything like that. We just state our point, and from what we can see, some kind of progress was made.
I don't know how you define violence. To me, putting up a border is violent. Yeah, so from it's a violent act. It's a violent act when you try to separate a people. So, and to me, violence can only be met with violence. Today we were slower, we were less agitated, but if necessary, we will step it up. Don't agitate us, we won't agitate you. So if the border gets removed, there will be no violence, but we will do by any means necessary, the borders will be removed.
I'm 100% happy what take place today on this island, because I see that in St. Martin people mind that we are fed up and we cannot continue taking stress. There's a lot of young people I know that they has to pay a guest house to able to stay on the front side to bring their children to school, and they are St. Martiners. And this is a frustration that acting up on the children psychologically and also on the parents. Okay? And it's also affecting us, the St. Martin people of way of living. I don't want one island. I don't want it. I want both islands, because the both island is united we stand and divided we fall.
I'm also very much satisfied with the outcome of the meeting. The prefect, in her arrogant behavior, finally admitted that it will now be our responsibility to make sure we fight to control the level of the virus circulation in the country. She agreed that she will send word to the captain, the commandant of the gendarmerie, to have the checkpoint removed immediately. I'm still here seeing, and I just asked the commandant if she have received word from her to remove he said not as yet, but I just remember that she was in a meeting with the press at the time, so maybe she didn't send word yet. She will have the two containers in both in Isapon and also in Lowlands removed in the morning, because we make her understand that it doesn't serve any purpose. It's not justified what she's trying to do. So we said all the motive that we do not care to discuss with her today, but we know that the measure that she tried to put in place to stay, according to her, to contain the virus, has not proven to be very efficient. So we have a victory on that level. But now stage 2 is that she's saying that she's convinced. She doesn't want it to happen, but she's convinced that people will get slack and behave in a very irresponsible way, and therefore the number would increase significantly on both sides of the island. So we told her, well, listen, we are ready to work along with you or work separately if need be, to make sure that from our end, we try our utmost to curtail the level of the number of cases on the island by trying to remind people that scientifically wearing the mask is the most effective and efficient way to combat, to let people know that the social distancing is also our priority. And we insist too that the IRS, which is the health department, the French health department, must increase the number of testing. The IRS also reminded us that they would be putting a plan of action in place with the southern side to try to fight equally, or at least on an equal level, the virus, the presence of the virus in our country. What I want to say to that too is that this is what we should be championing right from the start. Do not divide the country and say, over there got the virus, so let's cut them off. We have always said it's one island, one people, one destiny. So let us look at joint measures, concerted efforts in order to combat this disease. And now they come to that understanding that, yes, they must go in that direction. So they said they would be initiating a series of meetings as of Tuesday of next week with authorities in the South in this regard. So we just tell her, well, we have no problem in understanding what is happening jointly to combat the virus, but we said that under no circumstances are we prepared to see, or at least to see them, to maintain the barricade. So that was agreed to, that they're going to be lifted today itself.
I am Valerie Van Putten, thanking you so much for joining me this evening. And just a reminder that this and other programs are available online. Simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of the SXM Daily News team, we thank you for watching and plan on meeting you right back here again tomorrow.